Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Betty Speaks, and thank you for tuning in to Overcoming Battles. This is an intentional, motivational, plus inspirational show that is filled with wisdom that will awaken your hope, ambition, faith, and inner strength, plus cover a variety of genuine life changing topics that's designed to encourage listeners worldwide with the knowledge that strength doesn't come from what you can do, it comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. So, thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday. Today, we have a phenomenal young lady who is a great mentor. She's a great best friend. I call her my BFF. And she's that nationally acclaimed best-selling author of horror books, excuse me, and she's a brand new producer. I am so honored to bring before you Miss Brianna Johnson. Brianna, can you hear me okay?
I can. Thank you for having me.
Yay! Brianna, before we get started, I just want to share something with the audience about who you are and some of your beliefs. Brianna and I were talking earlier, and she has a belief in life of legacy, and that is leaving living a life that lasts. And she'll expound on that later on in the show. But legacy is not leaving something for people; it's leaving something in people. The greatest legacy one can pass from one person's children's or one's children and grandchildren is not money or other material things accumulated in one's life, but rather it's a legacy of character and faith. And that's who I found Miss Brianna Johnson to be. She is a woman who had as value to nations. She's a recipient of that award. It's the I Change Nations Award, worldwide award, I might add. And she's a recipient of that award, Women who had value worldwide. So before I get any further, I want Miss Brianna not to only tell us about the books that she writes and what motivated her to do so, but definitely tell us about this movie that she's producing.
Well, thank you so much. That was a great introduction. I guess I should start with how I just became who I am. I lived a normal life. I have three children, and I'm currently engaged, and I have a great relationship with my ex and his family, and I just, one day, I couldn't find a book to read, so I decided to write my own. And that's how my journey began. And I didn't know how much it would change my life until now. I'm almost on the 4 year mark of being an author, and I have met so many people that have changed me as a person and have made me so much better. And I have been able to help them and make them better. And this process that I've went through with writing, it's not just about books. It's also about giving these people, my fans and my family and my friends, a chance to escape a reality and, enter the book world and kind of be able to escape a little bit. So that was the reason behind me becoming an author. And as I grew as an author, I actually got a chance to develop as far as helping other authors become what they wanted to be, helping them reach their goals and seeing them succeed. And so with the whole legacy thing, I wanted to be able to show my children and my family and my friends that even after I'm gone, my legacy is going to carry on to the people that I have touched and that I've met and that I've loved, and they are going to carry on to help other people. So it's kind of like the kindness thing where you pay it forward and the next person does the same thing. It's legacy. So it's a little hard to explain, but it's just sending joy and showing the world that I was meant to do what I'm doing, and I'm doing it for a purpose.
I love that. And you said that it's pretty hard to explain. You did a phenomenal job expressing who you are and what it is that you do. And I love that you have that spirit in you, the spirit of paying it forward. You said that, a couple of times today, and that's one of the reasons you are here on this particular show, because it doesn't matter what hits you in life, you continue to overcome. You said I could not find a book to read, so I started writing them.
Yeah.
Wow. How powerful is that? And that's
Yeah.
that's go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that it's also whenever we did when I finally wrote my book, I struggled so badly with being able to get my book to the world out there, and I didn't really have anybody to turn to until I found my publisher. So I made a promise to myself to help anybody else in that situation because I was so lost, and I didn't want anybody else to be that lost. So as I grew as an author, I also grew in knowledge. So that way I can help people in the same situation that I was in, and they wouldn't have to be in that situation because it is scary and nerve wracking, and some people actually give up because it's so frustrating. And I didn't want that. So that's my goal, is to always help other authors succeed in what they're trying to do.
Wow. And again, just the title of this show is Overcoming Battles. She just experienced or exposed to you how she overcame something that she wants to assist others in overcoming. And that's what, again, that I have to share with you that that's what this show is all about. It doesn't matter what you are experiencing in life, you have the opportunity to overcome it, especially if you just take a few seconds and think, because that's what she did. What she said, okay, again, I can't find a good book to read. I will write a good book to read. Okay, now I need to find someone to produce this book, so or publish this book. So guess what? I will not allow the next person to go through what I went through to find someone to promote or produce my book. I will be able to pay it forward to them that way. This is what you call someone that is definitely legacy bound, that's living a legacy that will last a lifetime. Now let's talk about this movie. Let's go into this movie that you tell us the title of the movie.
So it's based on my book that I wrote called Seven Shots. So that's actually the title of the movie, is Seven Shots.
Seven Shots. So that's the title of today's podcast too. Seven Shots. The reason I select that title because I wanted her to talk, wanted her to talk about her movie Seven Shots, so we can be prepared to listen to it. I know that when people see this title, they're going to be like, Seven Shots. I gotta listen to this podcast. Well, you gotta read the book too. They have to read the book too, Seven Shots, because I remember when I came over to meet you and you started telling me about the book, and that caught me by surprise. I'm thinking with my hand held by my head, or my hand on my head on my hand, Seven Shots? Seriously, but you're a female. You're gonna write a movie about seven shots? So tell us. Go ahead, feed us with this movie Seven Shots. Don't give us all the meats and the potatoes and everything. Just enough to make us hungry and want to run out to the theaters to see it.
Okay, well, I wrote the book, and so basically it's just about a girl who has an ordinary life, and she ends up going through some tragic stuff. And little does she know, she gets kidnapped, and now she's being hunted. But there's a whole lot more to the story than just being hunted. There's some hidden secrets, some blasts from the past, and a whole lot of things that she has to overcome while she's being hunted by these humans. And so you just kind of get the thrill through the whole thing. So it's been a lot of fun to see my book come to life, and it's honestly been very shocking. It's very different, I will say that.
Wow. I love the fact that on your Facebook page today you had a picture of the young man that was doing the editing and doing some behind the scenes things to the movie. And I got excited because I just remember looking at the cover of the book in itself. And anyone that knows me know that I do not like horror movies. And Brianna, you're so cute. I can't even, I'm like, you writing a horror movie, you wrote that horror book and now you're producing it. Seriously? Well, let
Yeah,
me.
everybody looks at me funny with that though. They're like, "Oh, you're so sweet. I can't believe you wrote this."
Right. And that's exactly what I'm saying because I look at you and your cute little strawberry curly hair kids, and I'm thinking, but she wrote 7 shots. You know, seriously, she literally wrote the book 7 shots, and I just can't take it right now. But I know it's going to be good, and the fact that when will the movie air?
So right now we just got done shooting it. It took us about 8 days, and it was eight long days. That my crew was amazing. So we just got done shooting it at the beginning of June, and it's still in the editing process. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take because it is a lot of footage that we got. So it's just depending on the breakdown and the edits and stuff. So I'm not sure just yet. We're hoping for a next year in 2021 to be able to premiere it. So hopefully we'll have a date by the end of this year to give out and let people know when we can actually air it.
Wow. Now, Brianna, what brought about the movie? What was it that motivated you or someone else to do this particular movie? Because how many books have you written?
So I've written 5.
Okay.
7 Shots is actually my third book that I wrote,
Okay.
and there was a local coffee shop, it's Steam Coffee and Cream in Fountain Inn, and I put my books in the coffee shop, and I left my card. Well, 3 days later, I get a phone call, and it's this guy, and he's like, "Hey, is this your book in the coffee shop?" And I said, "Yeah," and he said, "I work with a team, and we like to make movies." And I said, "Yeah, really?" And he's like, "Well, I want to talk to you." So I said, "Okay." Well, I set up a meeting with him, and I didn't get my hopes up too high, and I sat down with him, and little did I know, it was one of my buddies that I've known for almost all of my life. And
Wow.
yeah, weird coincidences. So I sat down and I talked to him, and we sat down with the crew, and they were all on board with it, and they loved the story, they loved the action and adventure and the thrill of it, and so we decided right then and there, and that was almost 2 years ago. We sat down in that coffee shop and decided to turn it into a movie, and that's how the process began.
Wow. Now, are you allowed to disclose some of your lead actors at all?
Yeah, I am. So actually, there's my 4 leads. Mark Meekins, who plays my bad guy, Rich, and then Skywin Kimbrell, who plays my really great overcoming. She's my girl that does. She makes a good comeback. Her name is Blair in the movie. And then we have Michael Shirley, who is my Adam. He is kind of like he's the guy that lurks in the shadows, but is also the really good best friend helper. And then we have Michelle, and she plays the mom, and she is amazing. I didn't get a chance to meet her, but on set, but she did an amazing job acting because I got to see some of her stuff. So I was really impressed with my actors. We found them in different ways, and some reached out to me, and some I found along my journey of being an author, and
Mm-hmm.
it worked out amazingly because the talent that they have is what made this film so amazing.
Wow. And that sound like what, four actors?
Four
Okay.
of them.
Wow. And where was this film? Where did you do your filming?
Yeah, so there was a couple of locations. We shot in Greenville, Gray Court, South Carolina, and um, in Greer. So it was kind of like we kept it local. We wanted to be as local as we could,
Yes.
and all of our locations were around the Greenville, Florence area.
I love that. And it just goes to show that you're showing off some of the beauty here in the upstates of South Carolina. How about
Yes.
that? and and I want to say how proud of a mom are you by your children?
Oh my goodness! So they tell me daily. When we first started the whole process of the movie, I was so worried, and I'm one of those people that doesn't hide emotion well. I wear it all over my face, and my children know this. And so, they see me worry and they see me excited. And once we got done filming, I was only there for the first 3 days, and when I walked off set for that final day that I was there, it was 100 degrees out. I was pouring sweat. I was miserable. I walked in the door, and my kids looked at me, and they're like, "Mom, it's going to be amazing." And I said, "Yep, you're right. I know it is." And they were they're all for it. They ask me all the time, "Is it ready? Is it ready?" And I'm like, "No, not yet." So my children are just like the biggest support system. And it's so amazing because they're these little people who have no idea what the world is to offer, and yet they see it through me, and it's kind of like I'm living that legacy that I wanted, and it's proof that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow, that is, and you have 3 kids. Did I hear you say that? 3?
Yep, I have 3, 2 girls and 1 boy.
Wow, and I like I said, I got the glimpse of them one day when you guys were out doing landscaping, and you were talking about your daughter's hair, how natural she has the most beautiful curls, and so I wanted to say, in terms of overcoming battles, especially in what we have going on today, what have been some of the challenging things that you've had to overcome in making 7 shots?
So we were supposed to actually film in May. We were supposed to begin filming in May, and the virus kind of set everything back, and we were able to take a step back and look at everything and say, okay, we have to figure out the best way to do this. But it was also nerve wracking on my side because I have a lot of health problems, and I was scared if I could catch it or if somebody else on set could catch it. And so once we shut down, we decided to just put the movie on hold. And we even talked about canceling the movie. We even talked about not even doing the movie because of this virus. And then one thing, it was just all of a sudden, it was like a light at the end of the tunnel. And my crew came to me and they said, "We've got one shot. We figured out 1 week to be able to do this." And they said, "But it's up to you." And I said, "Oh no, the pressure is put on me." And they said, "What do you think?" And I said, "All right, well, I feel in my gut we should do it. Let's go. Let's do this." And it was our only chance to do it, and we had to take that leap of faith and go for it. And we had so many people show up. I was so amazed with everything that's going on in life right now. People are having trouble with work and family and sickness, and these people showed up to help us for free. And it humbled me to know, I can't even explain it. So I thank them from the bottom of my heart. I'll never be able to stop thanking them. But overcoming that and seeing that if they can jump, so can I. And we jumped. And by the beginning of June, we were on set, and for a week straight, we filmed the movie.
And you, do you know that because you have favor written all over you, I hear your gratitude in your voice. I hear your grace in your voice. I hear who you are in your voice. This is why everyone showed up for you, because of who you are. They see your image, and it's a good image. You do things from the heart. This brings me back to the award that you received in March, a woman who adds value. And you don't add value only to your children, the lives of those that you brought into the world, but you add value to others that come into um, that come into contact with you. And that's why, as you speak, I hear that I add value. I am a woman that is favored, and I want to favor others. I want to pay it forward because people have blessed me, and I am that woman who adds value to the community. So what you
Yeah.
did, and you didn't even realize that. You may have, just by the fact that you filmed the movie in several locations, you brought value to those communities. The fact that you have you selected certain actors to be your lead actors, you're adding value to the community by bringing these people who also have value to the community. And then the fact that you are raising your children, as we talked about that legacy things, your kids, you are instilling that legacy of character and faith in them. Mom was supposed to do this movie in May, but because God wasn't ready for her to do it in May, she still had the faith and pushed forward to get that movie done whenever it was done. And now they're like, "Oh, mom, can we see it?" Because it's like, this is your baby. This is that fourth baby you are birthing. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, especially it was never read the book. The greatest accomplishment that you can ever have is to make it become a movie because in the moment that I was on set for the first day, I was scared, I was nervous, I was emotional, and I got there and I said, "Oh man, so many things are running through my mind. What if people don't like it? What if it doesn't look okay? What if the storyline is messed up?" And it was just so many things. We're all the worst critics in this world, and I was criticizing myself so badly. And then my director, Dylan Nemi, called me like, "Hey, come up here. I want you to look at this." And I did. And when I looked at it, I took it. It was one scene, one little shot, and I looked at it on the monitor that was attached to that camera, and my heart melted. It was as if I seen my words, my characters, my life just come to real life on a film. And I looked at him and I was like, "You have this. You don't need me here. You have got this. I trust you. This is my baby. I'm handing my baby to you. I know you can handle this." And they did. They handled it. They did amazing. They made my vision come true. But seeing that my words, my characters come to life was a whole new feeling. And I recommend that every author in the world get a chance to turn their books into movies because
Mm.
it just changes your perspective on so many things.
Wow. And what I also hear you saying is that I already know what giving up feels like. I want to see what happens if I don't.
Yes, yes. I
Unbelievable.
say that all the time. I'm meant to do this and I have to push forward because everything in my life that has happened with me becoming an author. I mean, even the small things. So when I first started to write books, I had to find a publisher. I was selling my daughter's baby clothes when I found a publisher. And it just trickles on down to where I became an author, but it wasn't, or became a producer of a movie. It wasn't isn't even just that. It's the guy who contacted me. I grew up with him. I was meant to do this, and that I can't give up. There's a reason for me doing this, and I know that it's to help other people. And so now not only have I become an author and been able to help other authors succeed, but I'm hoping that with me getting my book turned into a movie, that I can now help other authors get their books turned into movies.
That's just who you are, Miss Brianna Johnson. You are that woman who adds value. You have that community platform, that worldwide platform for a reason. This is
Yeah.
yes, and the more you stand up and own that, the more you will continue to have favor over your life. This definitely reminds me of the call we had this month with Cheryl Williamson, Cheryl Polite Williamson. You remind me of the conversations that we've been having all month long with the other women that who are overcoming obstacles just to accomplish their task at hand. It's like you are the unstoppables, and
Yeah.
something about even the young lady that's in this movie. I can sense that she's going to be overcoming some obstacles, and I want to know so much about the movie, but I want to watch it during full daylight with my blinders on, so I can.
I promise it's not that scary.
Yeah.
It's one of my lighter ones. I should say it's not as gruesome or scary as my other books, but I think, and with you talking about my actors, the whole goal for me to create this wasn't just for my book to come to life.
Mhm.
It was to help these other actors and this crew and all of these extras and all these people. This movie has a chance to do something amazing for them too. And so we were talking about what we're going to do with it once we're done. Are we going to put it in festivals? What are we going to do with it? Are we going to try to put it in a theater? Are we going to try to present it to somebody? And I said, I do not care what we do, as long as it benefits every single person who helped make this movie come to life.
Yes.
That's the main goal. It cannot just benefit one person. It has to benefit us all.
Wow. And we spoke about that. That's just who you are, young lady. Honestly, and the actors, are they local as well?
Yes, they're all local. They all live close by, and they're so amazing. They're just trying to make it in an acting world. And I didn't, becoming this producer and doing this whole movie thing with my crew has opened a whole new world to me of, directors and cinematographers and actors and editors and all these people that I knew they existed, but I didn't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to see them and the struggles that they are going through is just triumphant to me. Being able to help them with their obstacles, even though I'm not in the same genre of business that they are, I'm
Right.
still doing the best I can to help them.
I love that. This is why, you and I are who we are together, because when you speak and when you assist others, you do it from the heart, and you feel that. It comes directly from your heart. What about, tell me about your friend and her experience at the event that we were at. And this is like, has nothing to do with the 7 shots, but I so love the fact that I got to see her running through down the hall looking for the bathroom, I think. And I'm thinking, what happened? What just happened?
Let me start with how I know her. Her name is Sage Butters. She is an artist out of Greycourt, South Carolina, and she does amazing things. And arbitrary art is who she is. And this girl, I believe that we were destined to be best friends. And I say that wholeheartedly because she is my ex-husband's current wife. But she is my business partner. She is my best friend. She's my mentor, and I look up to her with everything I have. And she is a big friend of just a second. And he said, I find y'all's relationship so amazing. And I said, I need a favor. And he looked at me funny, and I said, just a small favor. And he said, all right, what do you need? And I said, you know Les Brown? He said, yeah, he's a buddy of mine. I said, can you help me get him on the phone? And he said, yeah, why? What's wrong? And I said, well, that girl that you met, that's my best friend in our unique relationship, she is a tremendous fan of his. And he said, give me 5 minutes. I said, okay. He walks away, goes outside. I come back to talk to Seja for a second, and he peeps around the corner from outside the door, and he says, come here, come here, come here. So I run with her over there, and I said, Seja, he's got something for you. And he hands her the phone. And it is Les Brown on the phone talking to this girl, and she starts bawling, crying like a baby, cold chills all over. And he's just standing there talking about how he appreciates her, how, motivational speeches, and he's talking about how she listens to him all the time. And she gets off the phone, and she has to run across the room to go to the bathroom because she is crying so hard. But I owe him so much for doing that because it changed her life because she was able to speak to somebody that she looks up to so much, and it was amazing.
That was amazing. And again, we're talking about a show that is designed to inspire others with hope, ambition, faith, and inner strength. Can you imagine being surprised by your friend, a mentor, the way Brianna surprised that surprise she gave to her business partner, her ex-husband's wife? You guys, that's another show. We got some other overcoming to talk about. That is another show with Miss Brianna Johnson. Keep your eyes on her. She is a woman who adds value with I Change Nations, not just the community here in South Carolina, but nations. And her books are out there on Amazon. You name it. Brianna Johnson. That's very easy to spell, and there may be others out there with the same name, but there's only one genuine, true Brianna Johnson that's out there that's changing nations. A woman that's adding value not only to her community but nations. And stay tuned for 7 shots. You know, not 7 shots of alcohol, just 7 shots. Period. This is like a phenomenal movie, and I think she mentioned to me earlier about the word "run," and to stay focused on those 3 letters. Is there something that you want to share about the word "run" in the movie 7 Shots?
So it's very significant along with trust me. And so run is, once you hear him say the word run, you will get chills.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. I just got my chills, and he did. So Brianna, let us know how, if we want to follow you or stay in touch with you. Do you have like a website or Facebook, or do you want to share with us how we can come about in getting your materials?
Yeah, so I'm actually on Facebook under author Brianna Johnson. And then I'm also on Amazon. So if you look me up on Amazon, you can actually find my profile there. And then I try to do some blogs on my Amazon page as well. So you can look up Brianna Johnson. And if you find any of my books, you can click on them. And then click on my name, and there you go. And then I'm also on Instagram with my handle of Brianna Johnson 4917. And I also have my email open so that I allow people, in case they need to get in contact with me for anything, any help, any kind of resources that you need. It is author Brianna Johnson 2323 at Yahoo. And then I'm always local, so I'm always around, and I love coffee. So if you need a coffee date, you need a friend, that's me.
Aww, she said a coffee date or a friend. That's her. That's who she is. And she means that from the core of her heart. Seriously, she does. So I want to thank you. My name is Betty Speaks. I want to thank you for tuning in again to Overcoming Battles. We're here every Wednesday. You can catch us on basically any of the uh, podcasting podcasting. So definitely we are worldwide, and I so appreciate you tuning in to listen in to this phenomenal woman of value who's doing things worldwide and just finished producing her very first movie from one of her books that's called Seven Shots. So stay tuned for that. Put it on your calendar. And if you love horror movies, just go out there and purchase her books. And like she said, if you can't find something to read, then write it. Love that. Thank you so much, Brianna. I appreciate you sharing some of your most valuable times with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast. It felt good to be able to share with you all of my experiences. And, if you need anything, you can always call on me.
You got a friend.
VerKRadio.com. The power of women is the designation for all things women. Whether business, relationships, finance, or success, VerK Radio is all things, all women, all the time. Listen online at VerKRadio.com. That's VerCay radio.com. The power of women.